Today on Reset, we're going to be talking about a passive mixer that you can make at home, and also getting into the home projects. I made a rocket fin jig holder glue thing. Let's talk about some of that.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Reset Podcast. I'm your host, David McCabe. I'm trying something different today, so if you're listening on audio, I am recording video at the same time. It feels weird to be back in the saddle doing, I almost feel like live podcast because I'm going to go A to B, right? And going to A to Z, I guess you would say, and be done with it and edit the video a little bit, edit the audio a little bit, of course. But I'm recording both at the same time, and I'm going to try to make sure I explain the game enough for the audio listeners, because today I've got two projects for you. I'm going to be talking about a passive mixer, a lot of plosives in the passive mixer, but it's something I'm going to show you. It's a passive mixer. And then also I went out to my garage and made, I kind of did model rockets with my kids years ago, and I dug all that stuff back out and I made a holder to glue on fins. And I'm going to explain that, I promise. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/McCabeIO. You can get all the show like announcements and stuff. And I'm in there a little bit, never political, never church and state, right? I just kind of, what I've been doing lately with social media is turning it off. I feel like broadcast is a good thing right now. Reading, sometimes a bad thing. So patreon.com/David McCabe if you'd like to support the show. It helps so much, guys. And I do have some stamps, and I'm going to be getting stickers, brand new stickers out to any Patreon that has an address listed in their Patreon account if they support me. Not only if you're a new patron subscriber, you're going to get a Reset sticker, but I'll also send you over the brand new sticker as well. So you get two. You subscribe now, you get two. T-shirt shop and coffee mug shop, you might as well. Got nothing else to do, right? Reset.fm/store. So enough of that selling stuff. A couple weeks ago, I was on Home Gadget Geeks with Jim Collison. Great show. Had a good time. It was really weird to be back again. And that's kind of what gave me the push to try this, because Jim does everything like we did in the old days of homeservershow.com, the Home Server Show podcast. We broadcasted live, and we had the bottom thirds, we had video, it switched back and forth between the hosts and the guests, and you could hold things up and show people, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking with Jim and whatnot, and we have plans to do a new show. I'll let him, not a new podcast, a new episode, I should say. I'll let him tell you all that good information, but I am excited. He gave me 2 months to prepare. I had my outline done in like a week, so I'm ready. I'm not excited at all. So make sure you go see that, theaverageguy.tv. Don't even know what episode number it is. It's a couple shows ago. Plex TV had an announcement that I thought maybe you guys would be interested in. Let me drag that window over here. So they're opening up live TV for all Plex users. You don't have to have the Plex Pass. Plex Pass was something you pay monthly for, or back in the day, if you're like me, you bought the limited or whatever it was, lifetime license of it. I did that. Now, this is not going to give you DVR. This is only going to be live TV, but I encourage you to go out there and look at this. Even if you don't have Plex installed right now, go out and look at it. It's really cool. They've made so many advancements with this program, and you might even find yourself using it on your Roku, your Fire TV, whatever you're using that has a Plex app in it. iPads, iPhones, I use it all the time. I mean, it's a really neat service to have, and now you get that without having to pay for the Plex Pass. A lot of plosives tonight. I encourage you during this COVID-19 stuff to check with your internet provider to see if they have opened up bandwidth caps. You know what that means for data hoarding backup guru like myself, yes, it's time to pick another target to back up to, right? It's time to open up the floodgates. You may have unlimited data for the next month, maybe the next couple of months. So I encourage you to check Xfinity Cable Company. They emailed something to us and said, hey, everything's fine, everything's hunky-dory, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're helping the government, we're doing that, we're doing this. And never did they say, oh yeah, and we took off your caps, but they did. So you can upload at will. Now, Dave, is that taking advantage of a bad situation? Yes, it is. It is. But then I looked back at last month's bill, and it was double because of my bandwidth. Because we were practicing at home, we were already doing the distancing thing, and we blew past 1 terabyte in nothing flat. We also had a house guest. And I mean, that's our fault, right? We used the data. So I paid for it. I mean, my internet bill was $180 something. So yeah, I'm going to upload a couple of backups to a couple of different exterior, not sources, but targets. So think about it. I'm using Synology, so I have multiple different ways that I can back up my data to, not just local backups, but get them out there. Just upload your pictures. Choose a new backup. Pay a couple of dollars. Back it up, right? So try that. At least go out and see if you have unlimited backups. Okay. I thought this was a cool little article. T-Mobile had some stats. This was from March 24th. So this is, I mean, technically in today's world, when we're counting these numbers, this is old. They had all these stats about how people are texting more. People are using they're actually talking on the phone more. They saw more gaming data, and they did some, I don't know if it's like mobility. You've heard in the news where Google has, done some mapping to see if people have complied with all of the stay-at-home stuff. T-Mobile did that too, and I honestly captured this back on March 24th when it kind of meant a little something. I'll put it in the link as well. But T-Mobile, I mean, they can tell where people are connecting to different, cell phone towers, so they can see, that people like take New York City are mobilizing less. They're getting out less. They're staying within their, their home base, as it will. All right. So this is going to be a short podcast, and I want to talk to you about some home projects. I've been we've been doing the distancing thing and looking around for projects to do. And I guess, do you remember that episode of Seinfeld where it was with George and Elaine? George was abstaining from encounters with the opposite sex, and Elaine was not, right? So George got smart because he wasn't constantly thinking about, hooking up. His brain was free to do other things. Elaine, she was like a vegetable. She was as dumb as a piece of lettuce, right? That's how Jerry compared it. The little piece of lettuce, the little head of lettuce. So we got smart George and dumb Elaine. Well, it seems, I'm not saying that I got smart over this quarantining effort, but I have opened my brain let's do a project, right? So the first project I want to show you, I'm going to try camera 2 right here with the old producer podcast here. The first project I want to show you is a passive mixer. And since I've already switched over to this camera, I'm gonna describe it first, and then I'll tell you why I went this route. So this is a project plastic board that you can get. I would say Radio Shack, but that would date me. I believe I got this at Fry's back in the day. Also a bunch of resistors that I purchased from Fry's. I think that's pretty much all they sell anymore is 100 ohm resistors. And these 1/8" female audio plugs for hobby boards, because it's got this, it's got the ring on the outside that allows it to clamp into the hobby board. So just drilled some holes, and what we're doing is 2 signals in, 2 audio signals in, 1 audio signal out. And what these resistors do is allow you to isolate 1 from 2. So if you can look down here, this is a brown wire on the bottom here, where you connect all the grounds. So the grounds is the bottom tab of the 1/8" plug, ground to ground. Okay, those are all connected. And then you connect all of the lefts. So let's say this is the left, this is the left. Notice that this goes back, connects with the left over here. This one's on the opposite side because it's facing that way. And then you connect all the rights. See, this right, T is here, goes to this right, it goes to this right. So what it does is it just allows this audio signal to come in, and they don't mix. They will not mix at all. They just go straight to your output, and you plug your headphones in here, and everything is hunky-dory. Now, Dave, why did you do this? Well, my 10-year-old sits at his desk. I've told you about the kids that have stolen my gaming PCs. The 10-year-old sits at his desk. He's got his iPad on the desk, which, by the way, is around the corner right here. So we all have been cohabitating as gamers in this small area. He puts his iPad on the table and he FaceTimes a buddy. Then he gets on the PC and plays the game with the buddy. Now, whatever game this is, there's like no in-game communications. So maybe it's Roblox or something. I don't know what they're doing. Something on Steam. I have no clue. But they play together. The other kid on the other end has his iPad in his hand, and he's playing and doing and making noise, and it's crazy. You got all of these sounds going. You know, their house, the kid he's connecting to's household is loud. You know, the 10-year-old's talking, the iPad's making noise, the game is making noise. It's overwhelming. I just want to sit at my desk and just, research something, chill. So I'm like, I've got to fix this. So I dug out tons of stuff. I wrote it up on I don't even know if I have that sticky anymore. I wrote up a schematics of how to get all these signals gathered and how can I make sure that he can talk to that friend over FaceTime, but also hear both at the same time. I didn't want the microphone routing to the PC or doing anything crazy. So naturally, I did a lot of things. For one, I went from the iPad out to the dongle. This is the dongle, right? The little dongle here. And then I split the mic out, and that worked, but I had trouble getting the microphone talk from the 10-year-old back to the iPad. So I had to punt. Now this is an iPad that has a stereo headset to it. So it's got the 1/8" plug. It's old school. It's an iPad Air 2, which has the headset jack to it. So that's also a mic jack at the same time if you do it right. I started digging through my old stuff and I found an iRig microphone that I took to CES a long time ago. I was doing the hold up the iPhone recording, broadcasting live with the iRig mic way before everybody else was doing it. People were interviewing me because I had this weird setup going on, and they were interested in what was going on. I think I set the trend. I'll claim that anyway, but I was doing that. So I hooked him up with an iRig mic out of the iPad to the microphone, set it on the stand. Well, the iRig mic also has a headset plug that plugs into the iPad as well. I should have brought that over to show it to you. Okay, never mind. I went and got it. So through the miracle of pausing, I have the iRig microphone right here, and it has this connector right here, which plugs into the iPad, and the headphone adapter comes out right here. So that becomes that output on that plug right there goes into the mixer. That's iPad audio. The microphone is already feeding back into the iPad for the FaceTime conversation. So it's easy to just do PC output into the other connection and then put his headphones in here. Boom, it was done. So get your George brain on and think of some projects. The whole reason I would just do some home projects, right? Take what you have on hand and make it happen. I had to do several iterations. I'm moving the iRig mic right now. I had to do several iterations of that to finally get it to work, but I was just digging out cables and parts that I owned at home and already had on hand because I can't go out, and tried to figure out how to make that happen. Okay, so the next one may be more difficult to show you, but I'm going to show you on the second camera. Now, I want to set it up for all the audio listeners as well. This will be on youtube.com/David McCabe. Go out and find that video. I went out and dug out all my model rocketry gear, thinking, me and the kids could go out to some ginormous open field or something and shoot off some rockets, right? Went out there and dug out some old rockets that we used to shoot. There's actually some videos of these on my YouTube channel when they were just babies. We were shooting rockets. And found a couple of rockets, a couple of broken fins, right? So need to do some repairs, got some chutes to fix, digging out the engines, digging out the base station that you shoot them off from, trying to figure out what to work. So I've got this one rocket. It's got 2 broken fins. So I'm thinking to myself, man, a broken fin, you've got to sit there, you glue it, you let the glue set a little bit, you put the fin on, and then you've got to hold it. You literally have to stand there and hold it for maybe 10 minutes. That is awful. So I spent the next 5 hours building a rocket jig from all the little pieces and parts that I had laying around in my garage. Pieces and parts of wood, that is. I have wood in the corner that I could have got out and did some custom stuff. But literally what I did is just gathered up all the little blocks and pieces of wood that have gotten chopped off of the end of something I was working on. So it's this crazy looking piece of machinery I'm going to show you here on camera 2. I'm going to move this over. I hope I can show you on camera 2 on what is going on. So look at this hodgepodge of machinery on YouTube. So what I did is I'm using some rubber bands with screws to hold the rocket tube down firmly against this piece of wood here that has this nice flush angle, this flush piece of wood to it, where you got to kind of tweak the rubber bands to get the rocket to stay, where you can put the wing. Let me move that here. I have to lift it up so the wing doesn't get crushed off. So you see the wing here against this piece right here. And then I made this contraption that can hold the wing in place after you get the glue on it. So that is it in a nutshell. You can take the rocket out. You can put another rocket in, and you can glue the fin. I glued one fin so far. You go on to new projects. So literally I spent hours and hours on this behemoth of a piece of wood, just kind of setting that to the side just to see if I could do it, right? It wasn't about, I don't have a factory of rockets to do. I just need to put this fin on, right? So It was just to see if I could do it. And I'm sure if you are stumbling upon this as a rocket enthusiast and not a Reset.fm podcast listener, you're looking at my fin jig and going, oh my God, that is a behemoth. There's probably 100 different ways to do this. And there's probably 99 of those ways are probably more efficient, but mine got it done. I mean, I'm not complaining any, right? It got it done. And, I'll go out and glue this one on too. So my next project I really want to do, I found in my rockets that I had collected LED lights from different mechanisms or little circuit boards that had LED lights on them, and it was in a bag. And I had this idea at one time is to just put some LED lights on a rocket and do a night shoot. So I thought that would be kind of fun, and I've always wanted to put a camera of some sort on a rocket and get some YouTube footage or some video footage that way. I think that would be really cool. A lot of folks have done that, and it's kind of spinny and whatnot, but it looks fun. I think it would be at least a fun project to try to lose a GoPro with, or people are buying those keychain cameras and little spy cameras off of Amazon, I guess. So that's it. I know it's short, but I didn't want to go terribly long on YouTube as this test. So please head out to resetforums.com if you want to discuss this episode. Leave me a comment on some of these crazy tests. I think we already have a post out there on some home projects. What are you guys thinking of? I have my other project out there, which is a Dachshund Ramp. It is literally a ramp for the Dachshund to climb up and down on the couch, and it's adjustable, and I didn't want to pay the $200 for the one that was on the internet, so I just built one in the garage. So I got some pictures out there of that too. So get crafty, stay at home, don't go to the stores, don't go buy lumber, just look in your garage, see what you can find, and build it. I built some PCs, do some backups, do something. Test your backups, test your UPSs, anything to keep yourself busy and safe and away from others until this thing passes. So, because I want you all right back here. We'll do some reset stuff. We'll do some forum stuff. And hey, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. This has been Reset. It can be found at reset.fm or over on YouTube at youtube.com/David McCabe. Follow on Twitter at McCabeIO, and you can discuss this episode and more on Reset Forums, resetforums.com. Intro and outro music is by Daryl Lee. Find it at soundcloud.com, Daryl Lee Music. That's DERLEE Music. Support of this podcast can be done at Patreon, patreon.com/David McCabe. There's also some shopping links at resetforums.com if you want to use those. If you have a chance, please rate and review the podcast on iTunes. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you next week on Reset.